Some people go on vacation for sun and sand. They crave the warmth, the gentle lull of the waves, and the comfort of knowing what each day will bring. For many, that's the perfect escape. A break from the ordinary, a chance to unwind. Not us. We wanted something raw. Alaska, the last wild place. We were drawn to the unknown, to the edge of the map where nature still calls the shots. Our plan: a week fishing off Kodiak Island, chasing halibut and adventure. We wanted to test ourselves, to see if we could thrive where the land and sea are untamed. Our crew, Dave, the seasoned captain who knew these waters like the lines on his hands. Tom, the fix-anything mechanic who could coax life from any engine no matter how stubborn. And me, eager for a challenge, hungry for stories I could tell for the rest of my life. The provider was our sturdy boat, a vessel built for the wild, and we felt ready. We believed we had what it took to face whatever Alaska threw at us. Alaska's beauty is fierce, mountains like fresh scars, water ancient and cold. The landscape is both breathtaking and intimidating, a reminder that you are small here. We wanted to earn our dinner, to feel the exhaustion only hard work under a vast sky can bring. There's a satisfaction in laboring for your meal, in feeling the ache in your muscles as the sun rises. The first days were perfect, good catches, crisp air, and camaraderie. We laughed, swapped stories, and felt invincible, as if nothing could go wrong. But Alaska doesn't care about your plans. Out here, the weather can turn in an instant, and the sea has a mind of its own. Out here, you're just a guest. Lucky if you leave in one piece. The ocean is vast, and you quickly realize how powerless you are against its moods. We thought we were prepared for anything. We had the gear, the experience, and the confidence that comes from not yet having been tested. But the wild has its own rules. Out here, nature is judge and jury, and you play by her terms, or not at all. We set out for another day, chasing stories and giants from the deep. The promise of adventure was too strong to resist. We had no idea what was coming. The sky darkened, and a sense of unease crept in, but we pressed on, trusting in our luck. Alaska was about to show us who's really in charge. The line between adventure and danger was about to blur. The adventure we wanted was about to become a fight for survival. We would soon learn what it truly means to be at the mercy of the wild, and it started like any other day, quiet, hopeful, and full of promise, before the storm. The morning was picture perfect, calm seas, golden sunrise, laughter on deck. The forecast promised clear skies. We believed it. Fish were biting, spirits were high, but nature's warnings were subtle. Birds fleeing inland, water turning gray, swells growing. We ignored the signs, focused on the catch. Then, the air grew heavy and cold. The sky darkened, clouds rolling in fast. Dave's face changed. He knew what was coming. The perfect day was a mask. The storm was the truth. Suddenly, the temperature dropped. The horizon vanished behind a wall of black clouds. The forecast was dead wrong. We scrambled to secure gear, clear the deck. Fishing was over. Survival was now the only goal. We were miles from shore, and the real test was about to begin. Alaska had set its trap. The storm hit like a freight train. Rain lashed sideways, wind screamed, and waves towered over us. The provider was tossed like a toy, climbing and crashing down monstrous swells. Water poured over the deck, soaking us instantly. Visibility vanished. Fear settled in. We clung to the boat, securing loose gear, communicating with hand signals. Dave fought the helm, keeping us pointed into the waves. One wrong move, and we'd be rolled. We were utterly alone. No rescue, no help. The ocean was in charge now. We weren't fishermen anymore. We were just four men, fighting to keep our boat afloat. The storm had only just begun. In a storm, you trust your gear. Every knot, every bolt, every piece of equipment is a lifeline. Out here, the sea is unforgiving, and your survival depends on the reliability of your tools and the people beside you. But then the engine died. The hum that had been our heartbeat was suddenly gone, replaced by the roar of the wind and the pounding surf. Panic surged as we drifted sideways, vulnerable to every wave. The boat twisted in the swell, and for a moment, it felt like the ocean itself was in control. Tom dove into the engine compartment, flashlight in his teeth, hands working fast. He didn't hesitate, even as icy water sloshed around his boots and the boat pitched violently. Dave and I fought to deploy the sea anchor, a parachute for the water to keep us facing the waves. The wind whipped at our faces and every movement was a battle against the elements. It was a brutal struggle, but we got it out. Our hands were numb, our muscles burning, but we knew we had to act fast. The boat steadied, just enough. It wasn't safety, but it was a chance, a moment to breathe and regroup. Tom found the problem, a loose fuel line, air in the system. It was a small thing, but out here, small things can mean everything. He worked in freezing water, bleeding the lines, refusing to give up. His fingers were stiff, his breath visible in the cold, but he kept at it, determined to bring the engine back to life. Every update from below was hope. Each shout, each sign of progress was a lifeline thrown to the rest of us. On deck, we braced for each wave, holding on, waiting. The storm battered us, but we refused to let fear take over. Tom's determination kept us going. His grit was contagious, reminding us that as long as one of us was fighting, none of us could quit. We couldn't give up, not while he was still fighting. We watched, waited, and willed the engine to roar back to life. The storm tested our limits. It pushed us to the edge, demanding everything we had and more. But we weren't beaten yet. Out here, when machines fail, it's the strength of men that keeps hope alive. With the sea anchor out, we were less likely to capsize, but still at the storm's mercy. The ocean was a living, breathing beast, and we were just specks tossed in its fury. Every creak of the hull, every groan of the wind, reminded us how fragile we really were. 30-foot waves rose and fell, the boat climbing and plunging in a relentless rhythm. Each swell threatened to swallow us whole, and the roar of the water was deafening, drowning out even our thoughts. Time lost meaning. Survival was all that mattered. Minutes stretched into hours, and hours blurred together as we clung to the rails, fighting to stay upright. We wedged ourselves in, muscles aching, soaked and freezing. The cold bit through every layer and our hands were numb, but we couldn't let go, not even for a second. Conversation was impossible, just glances and nods. The wind stole our words, but our eyes said everything. Hold on, don't give up. Fear and exhaustion gnawed at us, but unity grew. We leaned on each other, drawing strength from the simple fact that we weren't alone in this fight. Dave scanned the waves. Tom worked below. I did whatever was needed. Each of us had a role, and every task mattered, no matter how small. We became a single organism, focused only on survival. Our movements were instinctive, our minds locked on the next moment, the next wave. No blame, no panic, just the next task. There was no room for fear or regret, only action and determination. The storm stripped us down to our core. It revealed who we were beneath the surface, tough, stubborn, and unwilling to let go. We were small, but together, we held on. The boat was our world, and our bond was the only thing keeping us afloat. The only thing keeping despair at bay was our shared purpose. We had to survive. That single thought kept us moving, even when hope seemed distant. And that was all that mattered. Nothing else existed beyond the storm, beyond the next breath, the next heartbeat. The night was still ahead. We braced ourselves, knowing the worst might not be over, but determined to see the dawn together. Darkness fell, and the storm grew worse. We lost the horizon. Now we could only feel the waves. Every crash and groan of the boat sounded like doom. Tom kept working in the engine room, his flashlight a tiny beacon. Each failed engine start chipped at our hope, but he never quit. Dave and I took turns on watch, talking about anything but the fear. We huddled for warmth, shivering uncontrollably. Sleep was impossible, exhaustion was total. The night dragged on, endless and terrifying. We clung to each other and to hope. The cold was relentless, the fear constant. We were pushed to our limits. All we could do was endure. At last, a new sound. The engine sputtered, then roared to life. Relief washed over us. Tom emerged, exhausted but triumphant. With power restored, Dave could steer, facing the waves head-on. The boat stabilized. We shifted from surviving to fighting back. Dawn crept in, the storm finally losing its grip. The wind softened, rain eased, and the waves grew less chaotic. We saw the horizon again, a thin line of hope. The worst was over. Sunrise was weak, but it meant survival. We were battered, but alive. Gratitude filled the cabin. We weren't safe yet, but hope returned. We had survived the night. Alaska had tested us, and we'd endured. The journey back was slow and punishing. The sea was still rough, the boat battered, and we were utterly spent. Silence settled as we processed what we'd survived. The world looked different, brighter, more precious. When the harbor appeared, it felt like salvation. Other fishermen saw our faces, and our wrecked boat. No words were needed. We staggered onto solid ground, legs shaky, hearts full. No celebration, just quiet relief and understanding. We looked back at the provider, our battered lifeboat. We'd gone seeking adventure and found survival. The story was written on us. We had faced the abyss and returned. That was enough. Days later, the lessons became clear. Alaska humbled us. Nature demands respect. Forecasts fail, machines break, but teamwork endures. Facing death strips away pretense. You see who people truly are. Dave's focus, Tom's grit, our unity. That's what saved us. Preparation and safety aren't optional. They're essential. The wild doesn't care how tough you are. We survived because we worked together, trusted each other, and refused to quit. The storm was a harsh teacher, but it gave us perspective. Life, friendship, humility, those are the real prizes. I'll never forget the terror, or the sunrise after. We went for fish, but came back with something far more valuable. Not a story of conquest, but of survival. And that's a story worth telling.